Hey, it's Kelly here with Team Flower. I'm here with my friend Presley Williams of Renfrow Farm, and we're here in Matthews, North Carolina. Presley, tell us a little bit about the farm and what was here before, and just a little bit about you and your story.
Okay, so this property that we're on is about 9 acres, and it used to be a farm back in the early 1900s when Matthews was kind of first growing as a little teeny weeny town on the outskirts of Charlotte. And the Renfrow family, which is what our farm is named after, lived here, and that every one of these houses along here had deep lots with big gardens. So this was a big garden, and or a small farm, whatever you want to call it. And then they owned a hardware store in the downtown strip of Matthews, which my family now owns. But come to the mid 1900s,
so not your family, but kind of carrying on their name and all that. Okay,
yeah,
great.
so the family, the Renfrow family, died out. There's no one left of them in their direct line, so my dad bought the business from the last one in the 80s. And so come to the 1940s or so, this land had grown up. It was all in trees. And when we got the land in 2010, we decided to turn it back into a farm. When the last member of the Renfrows passed away, he left this property to the hardware store, which is what my dad owns and where I work. So I work both here and there.
And that's just right down the road.
Yep, walking distance right down here. And so we do a whole lot of gardening. So I knew I wanted to be a gardener always. We had a big garden at my parents' house. And I was not interested in flowers at all when I started this farm, but got into it when I designed my own flowers for my wedding. But basically, we just have worked really hard to get this back to what it used to be, which was a farm, even with taking out the trees and doing the drainage and putting up a 7-foot tall deer fence around the whole property, because there are a lot of deer here. And so that's where we are now. It's year 5.
Okay, that's awesome. So this did, back in the day, used to be used for farming. Did you have to do a lot, once you got into it and you started like digging in the soil, did you have to do a lot of amendments to it? Was the texture of the soil nice? What kind of nutrients did you need to put back in it?
Yeah, certain ones we could tell it had been farmed years and years ago, but it had been a long time. It was not just hard clay completely. So partly that, and then partly back in the back, we could still see the terracing that farms used to be naturally terraced around the property.
Now, was that for water?
Drainage.
That they were drainage.
Yeah, so that it would not pool up and just, for water stuff. And so we could see that, and the ground had just enough organic matter in it still. So what we do though is we use composted leaves. So a lot of this is composted leaves that we put on top of the soil and then mix in. And that is our secret weapon.
That's the secret ingredient.
Ingredient.
Yeah, it's so fun in talking with all the different farmers that we've been interviewing. Everybody has their own special secret weapon.
And that's ours. Free leaves from landscapers in the town that suck them up in different places and dump them in big piles at the back of the farm, and we let them rot down and then mix them in, and free compost.
That's awesome. So that would probably help keep down on some of the weeds, like we were talking. We were talking the other day about it.
Suppressant. Yes. So we do that. We mulch with it in the rows and in between the rows, and then when we pull up the zinnias or something, then we'll till those leaves in, and so then they're as compost for the next year, and then we just remulch the next year.
That's awesome. And a lot of the things now, this area, we're just standing in one of like 4 places. So there's like another area over here, and then across the road there's like 2 more behind us, 2 big kind of larger fields, and most of them, they all look like they're in full sun. So you've got a lot of plants in here that love to be in the sun all the time. Tell us a little bit though. We have had a very hot year, lots of sun, very little rain. What are some things that you tried to grow this year that didn't go so well?
So I did not know, just being my second year growing dahlias, that they like a lot of water and not so much heat, and we had almost no rain. We don't have a well here yet, so we could not irrigate. It was just not something that I could do on city water very easily, or just the time it just would take without having an irrigation system set up. It just was too much. So they have just now started blooming, and here we are
it's
early
like
to mid-October.
Frost
they're almost
is ready to
finished.
hit. Yeah.
So that is one thing that needs a whole lot more water than I could supply.
Yeah, they love that swing between like warm and cool and kind of going back and forth. And we just didn't have that. We didn't have that this year.
95 plus every day for 3 months.
Was there anything, even like vegetables included, that really thrived in that kind of environment?
We have really good soil for tomatoes. So our tomatoes were wonderful this year, and sunflowers have done really well. But there are even some vegetables that didn't like the heat.
Yeah.
Like green beans don't make when it's that hot.
Right.
So we had plenty of losses, but plenty of successes as well to balance it out.
Yeah, that's good. And tomatoes are your fave.
They're my favorite.
That was good. It would have been really sad if the
Yes, tomatoes are my favorite and my customers' favorite.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest crop.
Yeah, tell everybody about your fun tomato day that you have here.
Yeah, once a year in August, we will be hosting a tomato sandwich day where people come and we just provide the tomatoes and the white bread and both kinds of mayonnaise, so they don't have to choose between Dukes and Helmets. They get the choice. They don't have to just have one of them, and we just let them make a sandwich and hang out on the farm. And we did the first one this year and people just loved it, so it's going to be our annual tradition from now on.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's a great way too that whenever there's people who want to come and visit the farm, but you have to, there's a lot of work to do on a farm. So if you can kind of consolidate and make efficient the time that you get to spend with the customers and that they get to actually come and experience what you do on a daily basis, it helps to keep your schedule clean so that you can keep moving through with all of your things, which is awesome. I think that's such a super fun idea. And who doesn't love a tomato and mayonnaise white bread sandwich?
Nobody doesn't.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We had some people who'd never had one before, and it was their first experience.
Wow.
So,
yeah, I think they're great. Tomatoes are wonderful. You'll have to tell me a couple of varieties. I grew a couple this year, but I didn't like fall in love with the varieties that I had.
Yeah.
So I need to pick some like better varieties.
I can help you with that.
You'll help me with that. Cool. Okay. What are some other things? What zone are we in?
This is kind of zone 7B or 8A. I'm not totally sure which one it is. I think it has changed recently, but zone 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Okay.
We typically have our last frost around tax day and then our first frost around Halloween.
Okay.
So that's a pretty long growing season.
Yeah, April through October. That's awesome. Are you, a lot of the things that you're growing, since you do have a longer growing season, you can probably start a lot more from seed than someone who's in like a more northern climate with a shorter growing season. So is most of what you have here things that you start from seed early in the spring? Or are you gonna try to overwinter anything this year? Since you do have like maybe a lighter winter, are you gonna try to overwinter anything?
Great question. So far everything I've done has pretty much been from seed, but excuse me, I am trying some plugs this fall and in the spring. I've realized some things from seed are just way too hard and grow too slowly and are just not really worth the time. I'd rather pay to have all 200 of them come in a plug tray and all be ready
and they're
to grow,
all germinated,
rather than having so few germinate. So I definitely am still learning the seed growing, but certain things like zinnias and stuff, I can direct seed those. I don't need a plug for them because they grow so fast, and I can do 4 or 5 or 6 plantings if I feel like it of zinnias. So certain hot weather things are easy.
Tell me about that succession planting with the zinnias, because I've thought about that too. Like, would it be good to like partway through like pull some things out and redo? Because I have just a very limited amount of space.
Yeah. So if you want to have more blooms, these were probably, I think these were my 4th or 5th planting right here. So my first 3 are already long gone. There's already broccoli heading up in the same spot where some of those were. So I just, when they stop producing large enough quantity, I just mow them down and start over. And then these are just here because frost is coming and they look pretty, and not really harvesting these specific ones anymore much, but don't want to get rid of those just because I'm about to not have flowers for the winter.
Yeah, they're there for the birds and the birds and the butterflies.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's like the latest date if you want to do a late planting of zinnias? Like how close to that last frost date can you do to actually have something that's kind of worth?
I'd say probably 70 to 75 days. Typically. So these
about 2
might
months.
have been early August. But yeah, I think you could do it all the way to mid-August. And last year we didn't really have a real frost until Thanksgiving. So totally depends on the year.
Yeah, got it. That's awesome. Well, it's fall here right now. What are some of the, are there any like showstoppers for fall? Vegetables, fruits included, you can count them all.
Oh, okay. So I've got some heirloom mums planted for the first time. So those are all budding up. I've never grown them before, so those will be blooming soon.
Fun.
There's a few back there and a whole lot in the next field. So those, even if it frosts, I'll cover those and see
how they do.
But broccoli and collards are our two main vegetable crops.
Okay.
People stand in line waiting for our broccoli, and then there's several barbecue places in town that buy our collards in large quantities. So I can't grow enough of either of them.
Yeah.
Not possible.
That's awesome. What about in springtime?
So I just got my anemones and ranunculus corms in, so I'm gonna pre-sprout those and plant those within a month. And last year some of them started blooming around Christmas, so that was a little early because it was so warm, but I'll be excited to grow them.
Yeah, well, they come up super early, so whenever it's kind of like that exciting thing to go out there and see what you've got out there. Do you have any hellebores here? I know that's more of like a perennial kind of thing, and it's a big investment to get started with those. I'm working
towards those. My grandmother and my aunt have a bunch in their yard, so I do pick those and sell them, but I haven't made my shade garden here yet.
Okay.
I've got some spots laid out, but it's a matter of getting the time to do it.
Yeah, of course. Mom and Dad got some. It was right around the time, I want to say it's been about 4 years now, but Mom and Dad just got a couple of plants, and it's been amazing to see like how once you get them in, they're very low maintenance, and they really take off, and it takes a while for the seeds, each year to germinate, but now they have lots and lots and lots and lots of babies. So it's a big initial investment, but they kind of do their thing, and they don't take a whole lot of, they come up so early, like Christmas to January, depending on what zone you're in. So that's always fun. And they last for so long throughout the spring. They still had them when I went up to visit in April.
Really?
Nice. Yeah. So that's a fun plant.
They're
I like
on my to plant
on
list
the
for
wish
sure.
list.
Yes.
Okay, what about summer?
Oh, sunflowers are probably
your fave?
My fave in a way, just because my customers get so excited about them.
That's one of those things that people just really, there's something nostalgic about it. I don't know if like grandma always had sunflowers or what, but it just makes people really happy. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I like to grow a lot of different things. Feverfew is one of my other favorites, but probably the showstopper that gets people really excited are the sunflowers, even if mixed in with all sorts of other stuff in a
that's
bouquet.
awesome. Well, Presley was telling me that she takes a lot of her, this building that you see just over here to our left is a little farm stand that she has that's open just on Tuesdays. So she cuts, fills everything up, and it runs, just a really sweet space, runs like a store in there on Tuesdays. And then on the other days of the week, you said, did you take some things up to the hardware store?
Vegetables and flowers.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then she has some really awesome visitors coming to the farm here pretty soon. The big outdoor farm to table folks that travel all over. Do you know what it's called specifically?
Outstanding in the field.
Outstanding in the field. So they do farm to table dinners all over. So they have one that's going to be happening here on Presley's farm this fall, which is really fun that we're excited about. And she's going to supply them with all kinds of probably are collards on the menu?
Yes, they are. Collards and broccoli and tomatoes and a few other farm items.
Okay, fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I had asked Presley about maybe some things that she was overwintering. So we've popped over here to the black-eyed Susan patch, and she's showing me some
just various different black-eyed Susan Rebecchias. There's a whole row of them. They're really small still, but they'll make it through the winter without really much coverage and look pretty rough, but in the spring they'll
kind of shed those leaves and kind of come back. What is the earliest? You overwinter, so you have an earlier bloom, right? So about when are you going to start seeing these bud up and produce?
That's a good question. I'm thinking early June. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because usually this is kind of fall, late summer, fall.
Yeah, so now I'll be doing some more of these same ones in the spring so that I have two different plantings to stagger the harvest.
Yes, so then you've got it going all season long. That's awesome. Let's walk over here and take a peek at the sweet peas as well.
Yeah, this is our cooler. We keep our flowers or things like our pomegranates in
Where
here.
are those coming from?
My parents have two trees that made about 100 pounds of pomegranates.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
So.
Oh, these are so beautiful. What's the variety?
This is Moulin Rouge.
Ooh, guys,
which is one
look
of
at
my
these.
favorites.
This is really black.
Yeah. Let's see.
And of course, they're all a little bit different. Oh, okay, so
That one's
branching,
all-
but yeah, look at this one. How fun is that? Love it. Nice. Thanks for saving those for us. Anyway, we're over here at the sweet peas. Both Presley and I. Was this your first year for trying sweet peas? Yeah, it was my first year too. We both had a similar experience where we got a few like really awesome blooms that smelled so good that we were just like, yes, more of this. But didn't quite have it. I didn't quite have it nailed down.
Oh no, me either.
So
that's okay.
we're trying again. And so she's got
I have
these
some teeny ones.
She's got the little
here.
babies in the ground, and when I went to go see Linda the other day, she had hers in the ground too. And Presley has them growing. This is called cattle fencing over from the hardware store. So she was telling me that they have them like the smaller holes are for goats and all those kinds of things. So us girls that didn't grow up anywhere near a farm are like, we just need this metal stuff that's like has squares, but so it's really helpful to know that it's called cattle fencing. So that's what she has everything growing up, and then just attached with zip ties here, which is how I had like an arbor that I had up this year that they were growing up, and then I was trying to just use stuff that I had, so I had chicken wire from all the like weddings and prepping containers and stuff, so I just ran chicken wire the whole way up and was like attaching them to that. But I think this would work so much better because you just have a lot more spaces. With sweet peas, you really have to keep on keeping them. They don't naturally really want to like attach to this in the same way that other vines do. You kind of have to like
weave them in a little bit.
Coax them in, but they really do need a place to climb. But like cup and saucer vine, have you ever seen that?
I have not grown that.
So pretty. You would love it. Reminds me of like this that you have going on over there, but yeah, it has real sticky fingers, but the sweet peas don't have that quite as much. So anyway, that's our little tidbit about sweet peas. We're trying again.
Yeah, trying again. Who knows?
Okay, we're back. Presley's gonna show us her dismal dahlia patch. She called it the dismal dahlia patch.
Yeah, I don't know how to grow everything yet, as is obvious by my fairly short and very slow blooming dahlias.
Well, it was a real hard year to try to figure it out for sure.
There's a lot of beautiful new leaf growth on them now that we've gotten cooler temperatures and rain in the past 3 weeks. But before that, they sat there without changing size for about 3 months, and I didn't have a way to water them, so I just had to let them
go.
So next year,
mine are coming, but I water them a lot.
Yeah,
I watered them a lot. Yeah, you don't have it up here yet. Nope. Well, she has them all. Look at the other farm that we visited. She has the conduit pipes with the rebar underneath, and so a precautionary measure, well, not a precautionary measure, but a purposeful measure to whenever it frosts to see if we can get something out of the dahlia patch before
let
it
them
really
hold on a little longer. I'll cover them with plastic and
see if now that the weather's changing a little bit too. So.
And then I'll end up putting early spring bloomers in this spot. I will dig the dahlias and put them in a new spot next year and put my anemones and ranunculus here later this fall.
Yeah, awesome. Presley, I wanted to know, what advice would you give to somebody who's kind of starting out new to growing? Like, what's the most important thing?
Okay, to start slow and small would probably be what I would recommend.
Yeah.
If you're not a full-time farmer and able to just mix the flower crops into your regular job, it's hard to come home from a 40-hour work week and be able to tend a field this size. So I would say if you're looking to start into flower farming, to just start small and grow a few rows of something, or a small patch of sunflowers and a few zinnias, and just start with the annuals, because those are the cheaper seeds.
Right.
Lower investment. See if you like what they do, and just build on that rather than getting in like way over your head and buying all the expensive tulip bulbs and all sorts of stuff that you're not able to
I feel like
justify yet.
Yeah, and I feel like plants take a while to get to know them. Like when we started planting the garden at home, now, you know, that first year I knew I wasn't in tune enough with them to know that they were maybe planted in a place that had too much sun or not enough water. And then once you get to know your plants a little bit more, they start to tell you things like, hey mom, over here, like I need to move. And plants can't like move themselves once you've like, especially I have a lot of perennials. So once they're in there, they're really in there. And it was so interesting to me how this year I could kind of start to know them a little bit more. So starting small with a low investment that you can just really start to observe things. Like we visited a place where the soil was more alkaline in a particular area. And you know, that's not something I would notice my first year in, but after you kind of do it for a while, you start to like notice things, so you can become smarter with your choices and smarter with growing things that are very well suited for where you are. So you might see some really beautiful flower that you're just like, I want to have that, but if it's not well suited for where you are, you know, it's going to be a frustrating process. And there are truly, like in all the different places, there are really special localized things.
You can grow something special everywhere.
Exactly.
And just don't be afraid to mess up, because you will mess up and have failures, and just learn from them. Don't be discouraged.
I love making mistakes. I don't like making them more than once.
No, but I learn well when I make one.
Exactly. Yeah, me too. I love that. Well, is there anything, Presley next year, she's expanding a little bit on the flower front, and she's selling to designers more next year, which I'm really excited about. Any plans for, I know you've got your sweet peas going over here, which is going to, designers are going to love those to be able to have, because when we grow, or when we have sweet peas that come in that are cut from wholesale in a box or whatever, you'll get you'll get the nice long stems, particularly when they come from Japan. That's really high tide sweet pea season for someone like me. But what's so beautiful and what I loved so much about whenever I had my little sweet pea patch is that you had the whole vine with it and the scent and just the whole experience of it was so nice. So that's something that I'm really excited about for you and for the designers who live nearby. So yeah, anything else that you have going on that you'd like to share with everyone?
Oh, just growing a lot of new things. I'm always adding new varieties to the list, and at least doubling the quantity every year so far.
Yeah, just double until you get to your like optimal size.
Yeah, until I've decided I've had enough and max out at a certain point, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
so
that's good. So your website is Renfrow,
RENFROW, farms with an S.com.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we'll follow along. And do you have like a little Instagram handle or something?
Yes, at Renfrow Farms.
At Renfrow Farms. Okay, perfect. So you can follow along with Presley's growing adventures. So, all right.
Thank you.